call the meeting to order. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for attendance, please.
Michael.
Here.
Sandy.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Lori here.
Motion to approve the agenda. I would like to make some adjustments to it. I'd like to remove item 4B under consent agenda. I will not be attending that conference, being that it's at the same time as the broadband committee meeting. And also, I would like to change under new business where it states discussion to appoint Supervisor Pacelli as new township ordinance enforcer. I would like to change that to Mike Riley. Lori, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Ken?
No, I do not.
Sandy?
No.
Michael?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Do you have anything to change before we approve the agenda?
No.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
One second.
Sandy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. No, you say motion to approve consent agenda as amended because I took that out.
Right, it would be a
Okay.
motion to,
Okay.
yeah, right.
So a motion to approve consent agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open session. Anyone wishing to address the board on agenda items only?
Hi, Pat Runyon. I'd like to compliment you on the turn the conference room into a meeting room. From the Historical Society standpoint, that's wonderful because then we'll have access to Ancestry.com and it'll be really a blessing for us. And actually, we had some people today through the Thumbprint News that contacted and came to the township. I happened to come in and it worked out really good. So the more we get out there and the more communication we have, the better it'll be for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
As president of the Historical Society, I'd like to second Pat's comments, but also if we treat the media room properly, we can put our zoning requirements on it. We can put some of our forms on that we have that people want to fill out and can be done, and probably a lot of other things that are there that would make it convenient for township residents. And if we can work something to gain extended hours, that would help open the township hall and access to our government to more of our citizens.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on. Unfinished business, item number 1, motion to approve contract of Barb Shoot as township assessor.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Barb Schutt as the township assessor.
I'll second.
discussion?
I get a question on approving all our contracts. I still don't see the one on here for Don Chop. Why don't we do them all at one time?
Because Don was not available to work with agreements in that because of his workload. And he preferred to everybody have a chance to discuss things with them before we brought it before the board.
Does it make the most sense to do them all separately? Or to do them all at once?
Well, if he's not available to discuss,
This has been going on for
What if-
4 months.
well, right now he's working without a contract, so he's an at-will employee, so it doesn't hurt the township any.
In my opinion,
Because
if I may, I think Mr. Chartier brings up a good point here. In my opinion, it just makes sense to handle all the contracts at once.
Well, the majority of the people were available and he wasn't. So I don't think that the other three should be punished because of his workload.
Also, each, if I may interject, each contract is separate and involves each individual person. We have to vote on each one separately, so if we do 3 tonight and 2 next month or 2 months from now, I don't see, each one is totally different. Each contract is totally different. It's not like we're trying to do 5 or 6 contracts that are exactly the same.
All right.
So we have to vote on each one separately.
So do I have a motion to approve Barb Schutz's contract as assessor?
You had a motion in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry, got a second. The only thing I would like to do would change her salary. The increase that she's requesting is 17, it's going from 15,000 to 17,000, and I'd like to take that 15,000 to 3% of 15,000.
Actually, she's getting 15.5
Five.
right now.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, we,
15.5. So I'd like to increase it to 3% of 15.5, which I think comes up to 16. I don't have my,
I have it calculated.
do you have your math with
It would be $15,965
it? Okay.
would be the added amount.
What?
$15,965 instead of $17,175.
In the paperwork provided, Barb brought up the point that although she's on the lower end, I mean, she's still not the lowest paid assessor in the area. I think it's good that it's been decreased, the amount that she would be getting. But I'm not 100% convinced there's a need for a pay raise at this time.
Well, actually, when I'm looking at what we're showing, she actually is the lowest paid. If you look at Cottrellville, she's getting paid $7.97 per parcel. Oh, I'm sorry, Emily Township is the next lowest. Barb's been here for, 20-some years?
I talked to Barb too, she's never asked for a raise.
She's never asked for a raise.
She's only got whatever the board decides to give her.
And it's been quite a few years since she's had a raise. And 3% is the established COLA.
And even that, at the parcel, I do believe it comes into $8 and some odd cents. I would hate to have her walk away, being that she's been our assessor for 25 years. Everybody's very familiar with her and the job that she does. And I think a 3% raise is probably not enough for her, but I appreciate it that she would accept that and be willing to stay, because if she were to leave, we'd be in a mess of trouble. And we'd probably end up paying somebody much higher. Anybody else for discussion? Can we restate the motion, please?
I make the motion to approve the contract with Barb Schutt as township assessor with the amended pay raise.
Of $15,965.
Yes. Thank you. Bless you.
Bless you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Next one is motion to accept Ruth Schutt as the assistant assessor.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Ruth Schutt as the assistant assessor.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I would like just to add to her job duties. I know that we've had several calls with regards to when realtors call in for the sketches. I would like to add that as one of her duties, so that's in the cloud. There you go with the cloud again. As one of her duties, to have that, so that the realtors
Have access.
have access to it, and then I think that that's.
So would that be
very-
under number 10?
It'd be under, under her duties.
Yeah, it'd be 10.
So add parcel sketches, I guess we would call it. And then I know she did go and get her license for assisting assessor. Actually, from what I have, she did, she took her MCAT classes and passed, so she's a Michigan Certified Assessor Technician, which is great, that benefits us. But being with our budget and that, I think that, and the hours that she works, and we have the new law. What's our new law coming up with minimum wage?
Minimum wage is changing to $8 and I think it's 13 cents in September or October, and she's at $8 right now, so we're gonna have to raise her salary
Didn't it come
anyway.
up if we did 3%, it was gonna be $8.21 or something
Yeah,
like that?
23 cents or something. I can check. I have a calculator.
How long has she been here? 2 years?
I'm sorry?
She's been here 2 years, right?
Yes.
It'd be $8.24. It'd be a 24-cent raise.
I guess my question is, didn't we just say that Barb is only at $8 and something an hour?
Per parcel.
Per parcel, okay, not
Yeah,
per hour.
that's not per
No,
hour.
per parcel.
Okay.
And then, with Ruth getting the 3% raise, she's also incurring a new, duty of having to put all of our parcels in the cloud. I know you like the cloud. So, can we restate the motion, please, Lori?
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with Ruth Schutt as the assistant to the assessor with the pay increase of 24 cents per hour, bringing it to $8.24.
With the added duty of,
I'm sorry, yes, with the added duty of scanning the parcel sketches into the software.
do you still second?
Yes, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need to take a brief recess before we move on to the next contract.
Okay? We need to vote on the recess.
Can we vote on recess, please?
I'll second your motion to recess at 7:49.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please.
I'll make a motion to resume the meeting at 7:51.
Okay, get a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the next contract, Bill Clausen. Motion to accept Bill Clausen as building official zoning administrator.
I'll make a motion to accept his contract.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Now, according to the contract, I mean, you said that ordinances will not be a part of this current contract, correct? I was just curious because on duties, on page 2, number 4, it makes a reference to providing the township a monthly report, which will include activities such as enforcement actions taken. So I just wanted to quickly ask about that.
With regard to permits.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
And he's not asking for a pay raise, right?
No.
You know, the one thing that I'd just like to say about Mr. Clausen, and it's not just me, I've had many reports from local businesses such as the Marine City Airport, AJ's, Salt Docks, and others. I've left phone messages from Mr. Clausen, and he does not return them. I don't think that's the way an employee should be acting.
Okay, well, do we want to go there? I have an email, if we're going to go for discussion, Michael, where I sent the board an email that I would like to remind that all employees contact the employees with regards to their contracts via email, cell phone, to set up a meeting or an appointment. And if you have any questions, that's the time to ask them. I received an email back from you, which requested an appointment, where you said you have literally years of proof that Bill Clausen does not respond to emails, which we have yet to see that proof. You also stated that you wanted to make an appointment with John McNamee and Bob Siebert. Bob Siebert is my defense attorney against the lawsuit that you had when you were suing me, so I don't understand why you would want him there. And then also, I have where you stated that Lori and I looked both ignorant and stupid throughout 2013 and childish. If this were not a political place, I'm pretty sure that emails like that would be grounds for dismissal, let alone not professional, and I find it verbal harassment. Also in the email, you stated that Bob Wiley's exact words were that John McNamee is going to bankrupt the township. I have this letter from Bob Wiley that states, "Dear Township Supervisor, I would like to take this time to apologize for any misunderstanding that may be conceived by other township trustees. It was brought to my attention that somebody misquoted me about your township's attorney. I have worked with your law firm consultants on a couple of occasions and hold the utmost respect for them. As the drain commissioner, my mission and my job is difficult enough just trying to get county drains in working order. I prefer to stay out of township level politics that may come into play between board members. Please accept this as my humble apology regarding the email that you shared with me. It's not accurate, and I wish that we could put this behind us and get back to business as usual.
I'll respond as you brought them up. As far as we have yet to see Mr. Clausen's problems and not confirming, there's a video on there on YouTube that's been there since 2012 where Mr. Clausen is arguing with the owner of the Marine City Airport outside the Township Hall. He would not respond and would not enforce the ordinance.
That's not what's stated in your email that you sent to me. I'm merely directing what the things that you stated to me. That's all I'm directing, and that's what I'm responding to. And I have my evidence, I have the drain commissioner, I have our documentation. You say that you have literally years of proof. Where is it?
I wasn't asked to bring it.
Well, if you're gonna claim something, you would think you would bring your proof, because I got my proof when you were stating that Bob Wiley was making claims, which he didn't. So we're gonna move along. Ken made the motion, Lori seconded it. Discussion's over. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Can I please get a roll call?
Ken?
Yes.
Lori, yes. Michael?
No.
Sandy?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes, but I do need to change one thing. Under 5, it says Monday through Friday, and it should be Monday through Thursday.
All of them are changed.
Mine's changed.
Oh, just want to make sure.
Okay.
All right, moving right along.
Oh, go ahead.
Discussion, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I thought you were waiting on me.
Discussion on CTV Channel 6. Several of us, there were some hiccups along the way. It was 3 months in the making. I spoke with Mr. Dingerman, and he assured us that he will tape our meetings, and we're willing to accept that because we all know that things happen. And the kinks are worked out, and we're willing to give them another trial period to make sure everything goes well, because we all know that mistakes happen, and with technical difficulties, sometimes we're not responsible. So we're willing to give another couple months. How's the rest of the board feel about that?
I'm fine.
I don't have any objections.
Anybody else? Okay. Moving on to new business, discussion to turn conference room into media room. We have 4 computers that were outdated between the clerk's office, the treasurer's, and the assessors and whatnot. So we had them sitting in the conference room, and I came up with the bright idea of why don't we turn it into a media room. We talked with our IT guys. The only thing that they do not do, that they did not include in the contract, was the actual cable, which I do have that right here. They did forward their cable guys for the cost of them putting the cable into the conference room, and it would be $320. I did get one bid, because of the time frame, to put the brass plugs underneath the conference table, drill the holes and set it up. It would be $525. And then IT Right would come in and set it all up so that residents of the community would have access to internet. They would have access to our historical society, what do we call it? I forget what it's called.
Well,
The Ancestry.com. Students can come in here. It's basically a work in progress. It's just a discussion. I'd like to use whatever money it costs out of our franchise fee, being that it's part of the internet. Maybe we could see if we could get a different bid on the electric or the cable. Just throwing it out there for ideas for the residents. Seeing who we could get volunteer for some nighttime, because we know everybody works, but I'd much rather have our residents, students be able to come to Township Hall than have to go to McDonald's. Sometimes they go to the library and the library's filled and that. Granted, one of the things that IT Right did say was that we have to be careful of viruses, so they don't get into our main work computers, but if we could figure that out. So it's a work in progress, so anybody that has suggestions, I'd appreciate it. But right now, the cost would be roughly $850, which we could take out of our franchise fee. And then we still need to find out if we could have volunteers for nighttime, because I realize everybody works and things like that, as well as copies and.
That would be our total cost, $850?
And IT Right would set up everything, and that would make it so that it looks nice, and there's not cords running everywhere. And then I spoke with the Historical Society, and what we'd like to do is set up pictures and just make it like a media room and something where everybody's comfortable, and kind of like a little library or something like that, and open for suggestions, and just a work in progress.
Now, will this be more efficient than, not knowing how the Historical Society does everything, than going to the library and doing it on their computers where they got bigger resources?
I have no problem with anybody speaking from the audience. Does anybody else?
Ken, what we're looking for is out of the Historical Society funds is to be able to subscribe to Ancestry.com, which gives us a great deal of access to historical databases, genealogy databases.
No, we need to go to the mic. Sorry.
That's okay.
I forgot.
My voice carries pretty well anyway, but. We're looking to put in Ancestry.com so we have access to genealogy databases. We're also looking to put historical photos on. We're in conversation with Don Davenport, who has a 65,000 person database, to have access to some of his stuff, which includes photos and other things like that. So we think this is a lot that will be offered here that won't be available other places. I've also had conversations with the people in Marine City and Algonac who both have museums, but they don't have access from their historical societies to the genealogy. They have individual files and folders and so forth, newspapers, but they don't have access to the genealogy databases. And we figured that that is actually a sort of a niche place that Cottrellville could be filling a spot that isn't provided by Marine City and Algonac.
But these are things that you don't get at the library, the genealogy?
Not always.
Websites?
I mean, some libraries have Ancestry.com, but not all of them do.
I mean, the stuff that you've done in the lobby, I mean, there's no doubt it's invaluable information, but I just didn't know if we would be as resourceful here as the library, if there's any other references that needed to be made or to be looked upon.
Hopefully, as we grow, we will be able to be actually more, and again, we're just starting. We have a very small group. We'd like to invite other people to participate with us, but we think that we can fill a niche that is not easily found. I mean, you can get some stuff in the libraries, you can go to Port Huron, you can go other places, but if you have a resource right here in your own township, it's much more convenient to get to.
Is this something that the whole Historical Society wants, to try to have it centralized into one location, such as here?
Yeah, yes, we would like to have it available in our township. I mean, you can subscribe to Ancestry.com on your own, but it's going to cost you any place from $100 to $200 to get the full subscriptions that are necessary to do that. And it's something we think we can provide as a service to not only our own township residents, but potentially some of the surrounding communities as well.
I think it utilizes Township Hall more too as a community center, and instead of just a place where you go and pay bills.
Well, and as I said before, if we can put things, as a media center, put things on such as our rules and regulations, it's actually going to take some burden off of some of the people in the office if somebody can come in and research the zoning laws or research what's needed for building permits for different structures, or print out the forms that don't have to necessarily be handed out during office hours. As a resident here for over 25 years, I never hear when the township hall is open. I leave the township at 6:30 in the morning and get home at 7 at night. So trying to get here to conduct business or to get forms or information is very, very difficult.
Will it be set up in such a fashion that anyone that comes in, such as if I came in the middle of the day to do something, I don't interrupt the work of the people
Office
in the
people?
hall? Yes.
Yeah, if
And ask
we-
them questions on how do I get to here, how do I do there, or is someone gonna be kind of always available if they make an appointment?
I think we're going to have to work that out as we go on. I think that the computers, if you're computer fluent, should be fairly accessible and easy for anybody who knows that. We would hope, one of the things as we go on a long-term basis, and if we can gather some additional volunteers, to have somebody here to help and direct people.
And then if you have your frequent questions about how do I get here, how do I get here, then you can do
We can do
a
a-
manual
Yeah.
of, okay, to get here.
How do you log
this
on?
up.
How do you get to this
exactly.
particular program or that particular program?
And then hopefully
Yeah.
we'll get community volunteers that'll be willing to help as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they can explain the cloud.
I know. So that's just a work in progress, and I'd appreciate anyone's input. That's just what I have so far with that idea.
The question I was gonna have is, will if these computers are added, will it be able to still be used for a closed meeting room if the board needs it?
Yep.
Okay.
Closed.
Like if we have a meeting, we would just turn the computers off, so we don't have to
Oh.
worry about somebody.
Well, the closed meeting, like if we call a closed
Right.
meeting right now.
Or even
where
if
all
you have
the
a
board
conference room,
members
the
go in the
monitors are
conference.
only this big, and we're gonna do them back to back, so. And then the same thing with the copying and that, we have to figure out, are we gonna do it on the honor system, or, I mean, it's just a lot of work in progress, but it's just willing to throw it out there to see what the residents prefer, because basically, we really don't use that conference room that often. I would like, until we get the broadband situation cleared up and things like that, we're just providing an accessibility to internet for our residents, and I think that's important.
What about Mr. Dingaman's equipment that's in there?
He is going to fix that, and Ken offered
They have
a
a
shelf
rack.
and a
Oh,
table.
okay.
And then they're gonna run all the cables underneath it, so that looks
Yeah, that table
like
looks
a
like it's
media
gonna
room.
fall down.
And then the historical society are gonna start hanging, pictures and that, so, with like lattes and,
An espresso machine.
right,
Yeah, we've just, as a sidelight, just this month.
And I was just gonna say that, and I'd like to thank Pat for doing that as one of our new pitchers for the boardroom. And I hope she continues to add into that. They have a lot of great ideas coming up. I don't know if you want me to share them with you or not. I think just let's surprise them. But I thought that was a great thing.
Yeah, I was also pleased the way you mentioned Don Davenport. He's an excellent historian.
Tremendous resource.
Yep.
And the advantage, as Don said,
You can't hear you. Not me.
and the advantage, as Don said, will connect us to other local historical societies in a connection. We're just starting to get some connections, which is great. And those people actually, there's a few of them that are showing up at our meetings.
Right.
So that the more we get out there, the more we communicate with people publicly, and this is a way of communicating, then the better off we'll be. We'll be able to develop our history better.
And I don't think people realize, but there's a St. Clair County Historical Society, and a lot more communities are getting involved with that, and then they're sharing their knowledge of other communities, and some of them are pretty crazy when you're talking about Border Patrol in 1934, and it's very interesting reading, and to me, I'm not from this community, but if I was Chartier or Westrick or something, and I had family, and then you read about all the stuff that your family did, that just makes you kind of proud and like, wow,
Oh,
you have a
yeah.
knowledge of your ancestry,
And
and it's,
the thing is, a lot of communities don't know we have a historical society.
right.
And we do have Eye on the Prize, and that is to do a book much like Ira's sesquicentennial history book. Once we get the histories of the families 50 years or more, we get all those done, then we can start talking about getting this book, which will be a great coffee table book. I'm sure, every resident would like to have a book like that, especially the ones that their families are in there. And it's a great starting point for their families to take off on. So anyway, this is a great asset because it'll help us move other things along. So it's a real advantage from the historical standpoint. So thank you.
Cottrellville has an extremely long and very, very rich history.
Yeah.
We go back to basically the founding of this country, this township.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. Anybody else for discussion on that?
No, I have a side housekeeping. This isn't on the agenda. Did you want it on there?
Oh my gosh, yes, we didn't add that. How do we do that?
Huh? Just say you want to amend the agenda.
Right now?
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot that. I need to amend the agenda now that we're on the Historical Society. I'm sorry, I apologize. For item number 7, for the Smith Cemetery cleanup.
So you're making a motion to amend the agenda to add number
This-
7?
Yes.
Okay. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry about that. All right, item number 2. Motion to appoint Mike Riley as the new township ordinance enforcer. Mr. Riley approached us about a year ago, and as we were going through whatever we're going through, him and I had finally been able, we actually met today, so I apologize for throwing this on at the last minute, but I had advertised for ordinance enforcer. I had put it on Facebook. Pretty much everybody knew that we're looking for one. He's very experienced, his references. I actually called today. Jeff Bohm, our county chair, highly recommended him. Randy Fernandez from Marysville, highly recommended him. And Bob Wiley, our drain commissioner, recommended him as well. He has an extensive career as building official, zoning administrator. He actually gave up Birchville Township so that he works for Port Huron right now, Marysville, and he's willing to come and help us out. I told him that I had only budgeted $10,000 for ordinance enforcer, which I know is not much, but he said he was willing to work for $7,200 and not have the township pay for mileage or his phone. Then he was aware. I also gave him the job duties and requirements, and he was agreeable to that. So I know we're in great need of one. I really didn't want to be one, but we didn't have very many responses. We did have responses. The people that we did have respond were people that lived in the community, and I thought maybe they didn't want to have the repercussions of, people going against them and whatnot. I thought it'd be better to have an outsider. He's very familiar. He's more into the ticketing thing, the civil infractions, I think is it's called. Oh, the municipal infractions, civil infractions. And he said he'd be willing to talk to John about his ideas and that, but he said it works very well for the other municipalities.
The other people that had applied didn't respond though when you contacted them again.
no.
That's why, because
Right.
it just
And-
kind of sounded like you made a decision that. we're
Right,
good,
no,
and
I mean,
that's not
I
what
had
happened.
other people that applied that some lived in township, one bailed because they had a business here and thought, well, that's probably not a good idea.
Right.
Another one, just didn't respond at all, and I sent several emails and phone calls. I advertised, nobody responded to advertisements at all. And, he was willing to do the job, but it was just a matter of getting back, and he had already, he worked for Birchville, and that just didn't work out for him because it was on, where Birchville is, and it just didn't work for him.
When can we meet him?
Whenever you want.
Is he here now?
He actually is not, because he is at, building, he's with, actually, a lot of building administrators right now up in Port Huron at some meeting. Otherwise, he would have stayed. I know Bill Clausen's up there too. He's familiar with Bill Clausen. I talked to Bill before, speaking with him.
Well, he has a very impressive resume. I like the way that the very first thing he lists is enforcement of township property ordinances, including civil infraction citations. Enforcing ordinances in a civil way is the way the Michigan Township Association recommends. And that's actually what Bob Wiley was talking about during that Republican Christmas meeting, when he said doing it in a criminal way would bankrupt the township. But I think this is an excellent resume. I mean, I don't really see a need to personally interview him. This is just, it goes back years.
I'm sorry, what did you say he was willing to accept as a salary? 7,200?
7,200.
As opposed to the 10,000?
I allocated 10,000. I
Right.
didn't tell him that.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he would do it for 72, which comes out to $600 a month. And at first I was like, wow. But then when he said no mileage or phone bill,
Right.
it was like,
That's
that's
an added
great. He
bonus.
said that's anybody that calls him at any time. And then that, that the office girls would become Civil Infraction Bureau employees.
Charlie's
FBI.
Angels. Yeah.
So you don't have to say nothing. That's what he said. So anyway, I had really good references. He's been a code enforcer. I appreciate everybody that was willing to step up to the plate, but I just didn't want to see my own residents getting more arguments with other residents and whatnot. And I have the county chair, the drain commissioner, and one of our biggest city managers saying that he's worth it. So,
Well, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Michael E. Riley as our new ordinance enforcement person at 7,200, or was it $800 a month?
72.
600 a month.
600 a month.
can I get a second?
One quick question. Did you say that there were certain hours, or like that he would be on duty, like for people to call?
Nope. He said he's just available. We didn't do hours or anything because we felt that sometimes if people know that that's the hours they're working,
Gotcha.
then that's, code enforcers out there.
Yeah,
So
that might act for
you
10
never
minutes.
know when he's gonna be around, but he's gonna be around with proof. And basically his theory is the same thing. He's not gonna go up and down the road and take pictures, say that's blight, that's blight. It's gonna be people that call and complain, which I have no problem with that, because one person's blight is not another person's blight. It's just the ordinance is the ordinance, and that's what he's willing to
If he
follow.
gets no complaints, then what would he do?
Nothing.
I mean, we don't get that many in a week or a month, do we?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Maybe
I'll hand you mine
5
over.
or 6?
Well, do we have to take him for a year? Is it a contract? Is it just a verbal? He'll come and work at will?
Employee.
So
With no contract.
if you don't like him at the end of a month, you can say,
Yep.
I second it.
Do you want to restate the motion, anybody?
To appoint Michael E. Riley as the township ordinance enforcer
At $600 a
at
month.
$600 a month.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 4. Item number 3, I'm sorry. Approval to pay Tim's Lawn $185 to cut down 7 dead trees along the township property line and Mr. Hiller's property. So right there, where's Mr. Hiller?
He was
Back
here.
there.
Oh,
there he
hi,
is, yeah.
can I see you?
Good evening.
Hi, Mr. Hiller. Can you come up to the podium so they can hear you on the camera? Thank you. Mr. Hiller and I have discussed, he has 7 dead trees on his property. Go ahead.
No, you're doing real good.
Okay, I'm doing
Keep
good.
going.
So anyway, we went out there and looked at them, and they do need to be cut down so they don't cause damage to his property. They could cause hazards to residents along the bike path and whatnot. So we asked Tim's Lawn Service, who does our lawn service, how much they would cost to chop down 7 trees, and they gave us an estimate of about $185. So we thought that was more than fair. And so we're just asking the board to approve that. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, ma'am, I'm just here to answer questions.
Any discussion? Oh, well,
I-
first,
I-
I need a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pay Tim's Lawn $185 to cut 7 dead trees along the township property line of Mr. Jim Hill.
I'm sorry, the trees are on the cemetery property or Mr.
They're-
No,
Hiller's
ma'am.
No,
property?
they're on the township.
It's on the, okay, I misunderstood. I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heller. Item number 4, motion to pass resolution R214-08, resolution opposing the construction of a nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin. And our district commissioner, Mr. Graytop, is here to elaborate on what this proposal is about.
Thank you Supervisor Fiskelli. Appreciate that. Actually, I'm here representing Senator Pavlo, who is not able to come tonight. I do sit on his staff as a district director, and we are 100% behind what the senator's trying to do here, get all these resolutions passed. We are doing that up and down the entire thumb area through Huron, Sanilac, and St. Clair counties. We probably have about 35 or 40 entities that have already passed this resolution, and it's asking that the Canadian government, who is putting this repository in place, do not do it in the Great Lakes Basin. In this particular area where they're talking about putting it, you would have to go about 200 miles north to get outside of the Great Lakes Basin. So the resolution is asking for that, and the resolution is connected also to some Senate bills and some other resolutions in the Senate, and they have all passed these 28-0, indicating they do not want any repositories by either Michigan or Canada anywhere in the Great Lakes Basin. When the House comes back after the summer recess, they will be voting on those same things. So this resolution really is asking the federal government of Canada not to install or to approve this particular nuclear waste repository, which will be 3/4 of a mile off the Lake Huron shore and down about 1,200 feet below the surface. So if you have other questions or issues that I can answer, I'm not an expert on this, but I've been through several of the meetings and some of these other get-togethers on this, I can certainly try to answer them for you.
If the thing is passed, the resolution, does that mean Canada is not gonna do it, or does that just mean that they're gonna acknowledge that the United States doesn't want them to?
We have no control over what Canada does, so what we are doing is trying to rally all of the residents of Michigan in that particular area, and there are other people below the Senator Pavlo's area going all the way down now into Lake Erie, because everybody draws their drinking water from this particular area, from the Great Lakes Basin. So, no, we have no control over what Canada does. But with this resolution, we are also asking the Secretary of State, we're asking for other people in government. We're asking for the President of the United States to enact a treaty that we have with Canada that protects the common waters. So it's starting at grassroots level, and it's chasing it as far as we can chase it.
You know, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with some of the stuff. Senator Pavlov always updates his Facebook page. This is very severe, what the Canadians are proposing. If there were some sort of problem where that leaked into the water, the half-life would just, be disastrous. So we really need to approve this for the protection of our own environment.
I'll make a motion to pass and I would like to correct the resolution number. That's a typo. It should be R-2014-08. One too many dashes in there.
I'll second it.
I didn't.
Oh.
Let me state it over. Motion to pass the resolution
Thank you.
2014-08. Resolution opposing the construction of a nuclear waste repository in the Great Lakes Basin.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
It's a resolution. We need to do a roll call vote. Michael?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Lori, yes.
And where did you get that number from?
It's on the agenda.
Yeah, I saw it was on the agenda, but I was just trying to.
No, I
compare it
haven't
here.
assigned it yet to the
Oh.
resolution.
Oh, that R2.
R2014.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, item number 5, discussion of the food drive. Michael?
Yes, at the end of last month, I was told by Lori that there was $150 remaining. My presumption at the time was because $150 was owed to the township, that the township would be paying for it. I then learned that it needed to be paid for with donations. A week ago, I acquired the information to reach the 2 donors that had paid for the previous food drive, and I made the phone calls to both the church in Casco Township. I left a message, but I have not heard back. And then the other resident of Cottrellville, I called, but they have a unique messaging system. It just says you've reached the caller or the person, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to leave a voicemail. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but so that's really all the information I have at this time.
So at this point in time, we haven't had any donations offered,
Right, because as I talked with you, there's really 2 donors that paid for it last time, so those are the ones that really need to be focused.
So pretty much it's a no-go at this point?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I can tell you, I probably should also mention, I contacted Alice from, the organization that provides the food. She said it's $650 for 14 pallets of food, which she said essentially is random. She says you won't know what you get till the truck arrives. She said each pallet of meat is an additional $100. I asked her what the amount was that would, properly match a $650 order of other food. She said $200 of meat would be a good ratio. So with the $150 in credit Cottrellville Township already has, that means $700 is needed to have, and then she also said the 2 dates that would be best are October 1st and October 8th. She said it always needs to be on a Wednesday.
Okay. Okay, so that's still a work in progress.
Yep.
So basically, we're asking residents to donate $700 so we can have a food drive on either October 1st or October 8th.
Yes.
Okay. We'll see if we can-
And, I probably should ask how, perhaps Sandra is the one that might answer this. How should residents make a donation to the township, and who should the checks be made out to?
Just to Cottrellville Township.
Okay. Should a memo be cited for donation, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Food drive.
okay.
Anybody else? All right, item number 6, motion to approve sewer bill relief due to water leak in the amount of $30.
I'll make a motion to approve sewer bill relief to water leak in the amount of $30 for Mr. Joseph Molitor.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Again, this was a resident who had a leak in May. His average is 15 units per quarter. He's 6 units over, which is 6 times 5 is 30, and so his sewage relief would be $30. And just for those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, it's because the water did not go through the sewer, it went out onto the ground or into their basement or wherever. It didn't go into the sewer. So we grant relief for that because they didn't incur that cost, actually.
Anybody else? Restate the motion, please.
I make a motion to approve sewer bill relief due to water leak in the amount of $30 for Mr. Joseph Molitor.
And I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 7, Smith Cemetery cleanup.
I'll make a motion to approve motion for Smith's Cemetery cleanup. Is there a presentation I also need to make a motion to?
No, that's all right, you can make a motion. I'll second it. Discussion. I'd like to have Beth, or Don, actually Don, is gonna come up and do the presentation.
I'm here again representing the Historical Society, and I don't know whether everybody here knows, but we have recently, as a township, within the last year or so, become the proprietors of the Smith Cemetery, due to the Smith family just not being able to maintain and do the upkeep that they need, and therefore the preservation of that falls to the township's responsibility. Because of a number of years of them having trouble to maintain it, the cemetery has fallen into a certain degree of disrepair. And as the Historical Society, we consider that cemetery to be a great historical benefit to the township. We have graves that go all the way back to almost the Revolutionary War in that cemetery. Additionally, we have many more recent burials that have been, and I believe there are still open graves or potential lots in that cemetery, but we have a lot of war veterans and other people who have been buried there. And so we think it's our responsibility as a township to take over and maintain that property. We have a couple of volunteers who brought forth a very good presentation or proposal. And they have found some of the things that are affecting the cemetery right now. It really has sort of a rodent problem right now. There's a lot of trash, there's overgrown trees, there's broken headstones, many other things that just leave it in a state of disrepair and just not a good presentation. So they would like to make a proposal to have this cemetery cleanup. I I have actually, which I can put up in the back, a presentation that goes into more detail. But we have also a brand-new cemetery ordinance through our planning commission that sets out certain requirements for the maintenance and preservation of the cemetery as well. So to get to the state that ordinance basically sets forth, as I said, we have people who have come forward and want to do cleanup. Let me go back here. What we're looking, or what we're presenting at this point in time, is to have a cemetery cleanup on the 25th of October. We are looking to gather volunteers to clean and repair the headstones, to clean up rubbish and remove overgrown vegetation, trim some overgrown trees. There's trees growing up around headstones that are pushing them out of place and are breaking them, so those things have to be removed. And obviously just rake up and remove organic matter, rubbish, and other things. And we have a potential series. We've already contacted the Boy Scouts. We've also contacted other groups to be able to help us on that period of time. Again, it is a work in process based on the township's approval, but fairly well along the way and organized. What we really need from the township is to be able to get it publicized. We would need a source of water for the cleaning of the headstones and that sort of thing, and that may be able to be arranged through the fire department or something similar. We hope to have donations, but may need some funds for the purchase of cleaning supplies, some tools or things like that we need. To clean the headstones, there's been some research done into what's necessary and what we want to, there's growth, organic growth, which deteriorates the headstones, so ammonia and other things, mostly natural cleaning products to preserve those headstones. Garbage bags. We're looking for,
Brushes, pails.
yeah, it's just all of that kind of thing that we would need to do it. So we think there'd be probably very minimal amounts of funds, if any, required to do this. We also think that it may be a potential to partner with the Parks and Recs group to have a larger overall event for that same day. And we will be working with the Parks and Rec department to be able to maybe coordinate some other activities that would make it a more fun day, not just a work day, for our volunteers and other residents.
And the Historical Society, I think if we could bring the two together with the cemetery maintenance. I already talked to Chief Slangster. He's willing to bring out the fire trucks. I've talked with Mr. Brady that runs the martial arts over in Algonac. He's willing to set up a car show and a tractor show. So we have that done. I still have to, I seen the bonfire was on the agenda, so we might have to talk about that and vendors. But like we said, it's a work in progress. I know of several tree trimmers that can help. I'm pretty sure I know some gentlemen that have trucks that would be willing to donate them to
Maybe haul a little trash here and there.
to haul some trash away.
If we trim some trees, we may have some wood for bonfires.
We can also, I think it's a great, I love the proposal and Beth and Barb, and I give you guys,
Any idea when you'll have an
Just
idea of what you think you're gonna need in either township assistance, donations?
I'm actually researching this right now. I'm constantly on the phone. One thing my husband is involved in is he dresses up for Star Wars characters. The Star Wars characters were already invited. We have at least one clone trooper. I'm not sure about any responses yet. I have a list. He has it in
supplies.
Yeah.
Well, I got the list
Right.
of supplies,
Yeah.
but
We're
has anybody
thinking
got a
about
value?
doing
We don't at this
trunk
point in
and
time,
treaters,
do we?
no.
I'm looking into it, I know a
Yeah.
lot of it, we can get people to bring it their own,
Yeah,
or
that's-
get it at the dollar store or lumberjacks.
I mean, what do garbage
Right.
rags cost, you know?
Yeah,
I
or
think
ammonia,
that-
but I
Right.
mean, just
Yeah,
so,
and if we can
get
get people to bring their own
some
tools.
donations
what
on
you're
that.
looking for, so
Yeah.
you know what to ask somebody or accept from them, or.
And
Yeah,
then you have
we'll probably have
vendors
that
there.
within the next couple of weeks, probably.
Just kind of basically make it like a fall Halloween like thing, the trick or treating we were looking into, and just making it a big thing between Parks and Rec, like an all-day event, you know.
I contacted Horns Brothers, I left a voicemail to see if they would either give us a discount or donate some gravel to reset some stones and something in.
And you know what? You could call, like, we could call like different stables around the area and see if they have some old soft bristle brushes that instead of throwing away, we could use for cemetery headstones and things like that. And,
There's a lot of sunken headstones. There's a cement that's
And-
used to put the stones back together. And again, we expect this probably to be an ongoing, but this would be sort of the kickoff.
Right. And the
Let's
other
get it
thing is
cleaned
we have
up
the
type
Gotta
of
get
thing.
cemetery.
started somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
The cemetery survey is going to be happening on the 16th and 17th of September.
That's where they're coming with that x-ray machine.
Yeah, where they're coming through with that, but,
If you guys look in your packet, there's a slide with a veteran's headstone.
and that would be a nice thing too. I have no idea where the veterans are.
We didn't
And to
realize
not
that-
place flags in a cemetery, Mr. Hahn, do you know where they're at? You always know things like that. But wouldn't that be nice to know that so that we could honor them?
Some of the Smiths.
And I think that's just a huge thing that's not asking a lot. That's our cemetery, and it's not gonna take, if we get enough people out there, it's not gonna take much time to, I think Tim's Lawn Service has done a wonderful job with, and TK as well, with getting it to where it is compared to what it was. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to say, okay, let's take it a step further. So, anyway, that's our discussion. So as of right now, we're tentatively looking at October 25th. And then hopefully, one of the advantages we have is that Parks and Rec meets the first Tuesday, Historical Society meets the first Thursday, meets before our board meeting in September, so that way we can come back to the board meeting in September and still have a month to plan and say, hey, this is what we need to do.
And remind everyone.
Great.
I actually have a reporter who is, we can pull this all off, she's willing, she wants to do a feature story on it to help promote the cemetery.
Which would be
promote-
great. It should be great. And I would think after only a year and a half of acquiring it and for the community to come together and make it like that, that says a lot. That'd be something really positive for our community. We like that.
I wish that we could have enjoined it with the free fall cleanup and had Jerry Packer write about it.
All right, any public comments? Thank you, Don.
One thing I'd like to say, Madam Moderator, is I've received some complaints over the last 2 months because of the way the June and July meetings aired. We need to make sure that the public participation policy is equally enforced so that everyone addresses the moderator and makes sure to, that they speak in your direction and no questions are answered.
Well, I've not received a comment about that. Thank you, though. Go ahead, Pat.
Hi. Just for the record, I would like to state that Mr. Zorin quoted that Mr. Clausen had an argument with Mr. Manter out in the parking lot, and he was videoing it. Actually, I was there, I witnessed it, and there was no argument. Mr. Clausen was having a conversation with Mr. Manter and another person in the parking lot, I think Mr. Manter's lawyer, and Michael was taping it, videoing it, and all Mr. Clausen did was ask Michael not to video a private conversation. There was no arguing in the parking lot, and I just want to state that for the record. I was a witness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is fascinating because Michael was inside the building. That video came from my cell phone. If you want, I can contact T-Mobile and have them provide it and upload it for you. He wasn't outside, he was in the building, and I was the one who witnessed it. I don't remember if you were there or not, but the fact that you're saying Clausen asked him to not record is a straight up lie. That is very scary. But I will contact T-Mobile and I'll have them send you the video from so you can see that it was from, he doesn't have a T-Mobile phone, he doesn't even have a smartphone. So please tell me how he was there videoing something. The footage came completely from my phone. That was a complete lie. Like usual for Pat Runyon. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yes, how we doing?
Hi, good, how are you?
Good. My name's Paul Michael. We have a tractor club, a local tractor club in the area. We cover Clay Township, Algonac, High Road. We do stuff up here in Cottrellville. We have members that reside here. We also have memorials out here on your property that we have planted in the past for members that have passed. And we keep them up pretty regularly. I keep them up pretty regularly. As you can see with the memorials out here, they're usually weeded. We haven't put the mulch down yet. I don't know where this is going to fall or how it's going to do, but we do have one of our founding members that has passed. A young guy, super guy. I believe his parents, and he did reside in a township here. What I'm asking for, and I don't know how you guys want to address it or approve it or whatnot, we're looking to put in another memorial. I don't have a sketch of what it's going to look like yet because the person putting it together it's a work in progress. You can't draw what he wants to put up. It's made with antique tractor seats. It's going to be a bench. It's going to be where people can sit as they're walking along the path. It's going to be, the best part of it is going to be free. It's going to beautify your park out there. It's not going to cost you a dime. All it's going to cost you is a part of your property and the okay to let us do it. Again, how it's going to work out, we're looking to put this thing in hopefully before the fall gets here. It's a good time to plant the trees. We're having a hard time trying to get some trees to take root out there. This past winter was terribly brutal on the trees. These trees, we, as a club, we put our own money into it and we buy these trees just because of the members, and it's something that we do for them. They were great members. It's a nice park. We have come up here with our tractors before and have participated in stuff that you've had going on, and we're always there to help. We're in with the good fellows in the community, and we do deal with a lot of stuff with the kids and that Santa Parade and Algonac and things like that. So what I need is, before we go out there and break ground and somebody come up and ask us why are you doing this and where's your say so?
I think what we need is a design and where you want to put it. Anybody else?
Madam Supervisor, I just want to point out that you've been notified previously. It will represent a knowing form of specific intent of MCL 15.263 sub 5. You told my mother she had to look to you, and you would not answer other questions.
I didn't even talk to your mother.
That was in June. Those are some of the complaints I got that people noticed from the TV broadcast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just simply telling you.
Tell me what.
Is this pertaining to what I have going on here?
What you're talking about.
The public participation policy approved by the board.
It's
states.
my meeting, and if I choose to respond to a resident, I can.
Okay, to
Thank
represent
you.
specific intent.
Thank you. Why are you threatening to sue us again?
I'm simply telling you that you're knowingly committing.
I'm not
Active-
knowingly, I can address any participant I want, Michael,
Acknowledged.
and we'll acknowledge that. Anyway,
3 minutes are up.
So, we can't draw you what it's gonna look like. We can tell you it's gonna be nice. We're gonna give you a general rendering of what it will be like. It's gonna have tractor seats on, it's gonna have a bench, and it's not gonna be something big and gaudy, it's gonna be something along the bike path in a certain area where we can put it to use to the best advantage to look over the park.
my suggestion, give us a design, and then we can vote on it,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
That's for the park, not the cemetery.
Huh?
Is it for the park or
It's
the
for the
cemetery?
park, it's the park, it's for, I already talked to him about it.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else?
I have a question, so somebody will probably have to call me back, but it was regarding the food drive. I'm just curious, if we don't get enough money, what happens to the money? Does it go in a fund for maybe a later time if there's not enough? And if there is money, but then the trustee gets the call back from one of the calls he made and there's food donated, does the money that we don't need, does that stay in a fund maybe, again, for a later time, we could do another food drive?
Call me tomorrow.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that way I can figure out what you're saying.
All right.
Anybody else?
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.